Hello and welcome to the United Stand. I'm joined by Harry from Wolves Fan TV. Hi Harry, how you doing, pal?
Doing brilliant, Mark. Yourself?
I'm good, and I'm very pleased to have you on tonight because this is a game that, well, it's a bit of a big reveal on Saturday, so I can't say why I'm convinced we're going to win this, but I've always felt that this was going to be a really good game, Wolves against Manchester United. Really looking forward to it. Really pleased to have you on because I always do my own research, as I was just saying before we go live there. But there's no research that's as good as somebody who actually supports the club and has followed them. And it's been quite a journey for Wolves. But it is a Manchester United fan channel. And I just want to start off first of all and say, look, a lot of our viewers will be very interested in this. If you had to name, say, 2 United players that you are fearful of on Saturday, we might not pick them because that's the Mourinho way. He might not pick them. But who are the players that you would be concerned of in relation to United on Saturday?
Well, to be honest with you, I'd say Pogba, which is why I'm so happy he had a really good game against Young Boys, because normally, once he has a really good game, he goes off the boil for 3 or 4 matches. So to see him perform in the Champions League was quite a relief, because I think he will produce when the time's right, but he's on and off at the minute. So, in fact, I was quite happy that Pogba had a good game, because I don't think he'll follow it through. But if he performs, obviously, he's the man that can change the game. Also, Anthony Martial, I don't know about yourself, Mark, but I find it incredibly frustrating as a neutral to see a player who clearly shows so much promise, almost not fulfilling what he can be capable of. But if he turns on the style against us, if he even plays, that is, I think, to be honest with you, those are 2 players that on their day can become world class and change games. And those are the 2 players I think that could probably unlock our defence and cause problems for us. But apart from that, I think I'm confident. People on the chat no doubt be saying it, but I'm probably the most confident I would be about taking on a top 4 side as a Wolves fan ever, easily.
It's interesting, and I sort of understand that why, which we'll come to in a minute. But the check's in the post about the Martial comment anyway. I'm very pleased that you said that. But no, look, we haven't spoken about that before, obviously, but it doesn't surprise me because I know lots of fans who don't support Manchester United, and I get the same thing all the time. Pogba is fantastic, but for some reason, why is he not consistent? And Martial's the best talent you've got. Don't understand why you pick him. But as a United fan, and there are people in the live comments who don't like him, and there are people who do like him, but as a United fan who does like him, I do get very frustrated because so many people who are not United fans constantly go on about him. And I think it's great to have you on tonight because I don't think some United fans believe what a great talent he is.
Well, you can only judge what you see, to be honest with you. And it's easy because I can't speak on behalf of United fans, which is why I respect their opinion. If there are fans that are watching United week in, week out, and perhaps not seeing a player who's been there since 2015 excel, then 3 years is 3 years, and I can kind of understand why certain fans would voice a bit of displeasure towards him. However, to be honest with you, I think this is a guy that needs that. I think Louis van Gaal had a lot of wrong points. But to give him one and benefit, I think he would have got the best out of the likes of Rashford, Martial, something that Mourinho I don't think has done. And I think, to be honest with you, just in my personal opinion, I think Martial on his day, he's world class. And the best thing I think for you is if he does blossom, if Mourinho does continue to play this slightly more attacking approach, which I've seen the last couple of games from you, and Martial is able to benefit from that, you've got a world class player, and I don't mind being perhaps panned for that. I think Martial, if he fulfills to his potential, is world class, and that's why it's frustrating for me, because in the Premier League you want to see players. For me, even if we're playing against them, I want to see really good players at their top best, and I don't think Martial has done anywhere near what he could do for you in any of the real 3 years. He had a very good first season, in fact, for a stage, but since then it's just been disappointing on your end. And but hopefully, that he does fulfil himself, because I think he's just a class player.
It's interesting because I actually don't think he'll play against you at the weekend, so it isn't anything to worry about. But before we talk a little bit more about United, obviously Wolves fans, so we're eager, we're really eager. And just for everybody as well, we've got a Jose Mourinho outer who's going to call in after Harry's gone in a few minutes' time, which is really interesting because I was talking about that at lunchtime, so hang about for that as well. But let's talk Wolves. So I watched Wolves last weekend. I actually said about Wolves on That's Football, which is my other channel, around Christmas time, I said Wolves will be promoted and they'll finish in the top 10. And loads of people laughed. I said, no, you don't realise what's going on at Wolves. They've got this ownership structure. George Mendes is involved. The manager wants to play good football. They're way too good for the Championship. And once they adjust to the Premier League, they'll be very good in the Premier League. And that was always the thing, how long it would take you to adjust. Now, I think United are going to beat you 2-0 on the weekend. I think it's going to be a good game. But this is the question, because I watched Wolves play last week against Burnley. And I was like, they could play till Christmas and they couldn't score because they had so much of the possession. Now, the way I saw it, and I'm just drawing it on the little pitch here, you played a back five, a midfield four, and one up front. And obviously, you sat back with, well, maybe a back three with the fullbacks bombing on. But that's how it looked to me. Maybe I'm wrong. And you are very well set, although against Burnley, you were obviously creating a lot. You're very well set to come to United and stick to that formation, soak pressure up and hit us on the break. Is that how you think you'll play? Because we tend to soak pressure up and hit people on the break as well. So how do you think you're going to approach it, and what are the players that we should... What's the style of play you're going to play, and who should we be looking out for?
Well, this will be controversial, but I'm only going to be honest to you. I honestly think you need to watch out. I think the Man City Wolves game, obviously City weren't at their best, but our manager Nuno, he's not interested in sitting back against any team. We have players, and I think we have the right approach. We've done... Over a year now, we will take the game to you if possible. Obviously, we're not going to be going as attacking as we did against Burnley, but to be honest with you, Burnley were rubbish, fair to say, on Sunday. But
we played them before you. They're terrible. They're rubbish, absolutely going down.
Yes, at this rate. But the way we play as well, I think, and United fans, obviously, you're going to think, well, it's a promoted side, it's at Old Trafford, it's a win. But you've got to watch out. We've got incredible talent at the minute. I mean, Adama Traore, record signing, £18 million. He's the second fastest player at the minute.
Do you think he'll play, though? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think he'll play? Because I saw him come on against Burnley, and I like that sort of player. I love wingers. That's why I love Martial. But he is definitely not the finished article yet. He's head down. 50. It reminds me of Martial when he first came on the scene, actually. He's either brilliant or he loses the ball. And he came on as a sub. Do you think he'd risk him at Old Trafford?
Definitely. I think, to be honest with you, the one thing I've been saying on my videos is, why isn't he actually starting? I think it's quite harsh at times to judge the guy when he only gets 20 minutes, because he's already, in a way, at a disadvantage because he hasn't been in tune with the game as much as everybody else. But believe me, I think, especially if we've got the likes of Ashley Young and you've got all them, Chris Smalling and that playing, Adama Traore is going to have a field day. I honestly believe that. The guy is fantastic on the ball. People have in the past complained about no end products, but he scored coming off the bench against West Ham. He always seems to carry a threat. We've got players like Ruben Neves, who is incredibly consistent. He's made the transition from the Championship to the Premier League very quickly. He looks so in his element. He can pick out passes 20, 30, 40 yards. Is a killer from set pieces. João Moutinho had a very solid game against Burnley. He's starting to adjust. Believe me, I think could be in for a surprise. I mean, maybe Old Trafford back in the day, in my opinion, was a very, very difficult place to go and get results. But these days, as a Wolves fan, speaking, I think on behalf of a lot of the Wolves fans, we're going into your game with no fear and, in fact, very confident. In fact, that's exactly what Wolves fans were thinking when we took on Man City. We see what we see every week. And we're seeing a team that is hungry, has got bags of talent, is paced, the style of football's fantastic. Remember as well that Nuno has worked with Mourinho in the past. He knows how he plays, he knows his tactics. I think that could work to his advantage. And fair enough, I'm going to say on camera, I think we can beat you. And I actually think it might be a 2-1 win for Wolves. I know you're definitely not going to agree with.
I love it. I love it. I tell you what, I absolutely love it. I love the fact that you are very confident, and I'm a man. I am a man, but I am a man who, a Manchester United fan who. I said this about Ronaldo. I want Ronaldo not to be banned when we play him. I want teams to come to United and test us, because I personally think when you look at it traditionally, Wolves at home, West Ham away, Newcastle at home, that should be 9 points for United, like you say. Traditionally for United, it should be. And I think Newcastle is definitely going to be 3 points. I think West Ham, maybe they might be resurgent. But as I said, I pinpointed this game even in the summer. I said, that Wolves game, a lot of people think it's 3 points. I think we will beat you, but I'm hoping, as you've said, you're going to come and give us a go. I'm a big fan of Moutinho in the midfield as well. I think the other, what was the name of the lad who plays on the left hand side? Does it end in itch or something like that?
Up front or as a wing back?
Yeah, well, I think he played to the left hand side of the striker off the left hand side.
Normally, Helder Costa, Diogo Jota, and then up front, Raul Jimenez is normally how we play as a front three.
Oh, right. Because there was somebody on the left-hand side who I quite like the look of, and it maybe coming as a sub then in the second half. It wasn't Mitrovic, it was something like that. It sounded like a bit of a Serbian sort of name, but Anyway, probably imagine that. However, I think that one thing I was going to ask you is where do you think you are weak? Because the one thing I would say is Luke Shaw will play on the left, so we're strong there. But Valencia will play on the right, and we've conceded a lot of goals down the right. So I would put my hands up and say, look, if Valencia's playing right-hand side, and I think Smalling has been very good at the moment, but
he's on and off.
We won't win a title with Smalling. So where are your weaknesses then?
Well, to be honest with you, it's not position-wise. I think our weakness that could potentially hold us back against you and against teams, and it's already shown, is our clinical factor. I mean, 30 shots on goal, 1 goal. Obviously, it was a very pleasing performance, but the end product has to be spot on. And that cost us against Leicester, and it cost us an extra 2 points against Everton, and we've got to get that spot on. But position-wise, really, you can't complain. Rui Patricio has been playing some fantastic games in goal. Our defence, we're back off 2 straight clean sheets now, which is impressive. I think Burnley doesn't really count, to be honest with you. That was more of a training match. And then our midfielder firing, and the wing backs are looking in more shape as well. So I think positioning wise, I can't label a weakness. Every player's been pulling their weight, and really we're riding the crest of a wave at the minute with Wolves. We've got so much momentum and feel good. The feel good factor is definitely behind us. But if we don't take our chances, then we'll lose. It's simple as that. But I think that Nuno has been spending the last 2-3 weeks, he's mentioned it in his interviews, he's mentioned it in his press conferences. He wants us to be more clinical, and that's all we're going to be working on ahead of you. And I think it's going to be so good for the players, especially ones who've been up from the Championship, the likes of Ruben Neves. There was a lot of criticism from him. From a lot of neutral fans saying, why are you moving down there? Here's his chance. And I personally think he is not going to miss it. He's not going to miss the opportunity. He will be at you come Saturday, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Matthew McFadden's made a contribution. He says, normally when a fan of a promoted club gives it the big and I laugh it off, but with Wolves, the confidence is justified, mid-table finish guaranteed. Look, I can't lie. I did say that Wolves would be a decent team when they come up this season, and I do think they'll finish in the top 10. I'll stand by it. I mean, you're going 2-1, Harry. I'm going to go 2-0 with this. I think, trying to keep my, football head on, because I'm not just a United fan. I do watch a lot of football. Obviously, I want this to happen, and I think it might happen. I think that it all depends on how you're going to approach it. A point would be fantastic for you, but you will be given the ball. We gave Leicester a lot of the ball on the opening day, so you will get a lot of the ball. I think you're a better footballing team than Leicester, but I think the thing that might be an issue for Wolves is you never know what you're going to get with United. We as United fans don't know what we're going to get with United, and if there is some momentum and there is some consistency from Pogba, and Sanchez will come back in, and maybe he's a bit worried about Martial, we could, as United fans, and I think this is what we're hoping, we're going to see United start to go through the gears and be the players they should be. Although, I agree with you, if we are the team that we have been over the last 6 months, then that's a massive opportunity for a team that has been very consistent and has scored some, has won some good games. And it wouldn't be a shock if you beat us on Saturday, but I'm afraid to say I don't think you will.
Of course. I think, to be honest with you, you've come off the back of some much improved performances. I know Spurs went a little bit on the slide, but for the first half, you were right up against them. However, I just think that we might. I don't know if your players, they might try and rest on their laurels a little bit against us. I think that they might not expect a great deal. And then if we're at fit and firing, which we have been pretty much every game in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, I think we might rock you. It might be like in a boxing match, you might be on the ropes, and it only takes 1 goal. And I think really that then we could be talking. I mean, it could go either way. To be honest with you, I'm confident. And I know it might sound weird. You've got one of the biggest clubs in the world against a newly promoted side. But, I see what I see. And what I see is a very polished side that have played Man City. So that probably adds to the confidence factor. And we took the game to them. And we had chances that we should have scored against them. So I honestly feel we will create chances against you. It's just a case of if we score them. That is the one factor that can be the difference between a win or a defeat. But I will agree with your point, Mark. A draw would be fantastic for us because, any result at Old Trafford, despite the fact I don't think it's what it used to be, it's still going to do us very nicely in the table. And I think top half for us would be probably where I expect us, maybe pushing for 7th if a couple teams have an off season. But that's just my opinion. But I don't know really. Where do you think we'll finish? Top half?
I think you'll finish in the top half, yeah, I do. I said that back at Christmas, like I said, and I think the big thing for us is that you are going to be a footballing team, and that's what we want to be, and that we're going to be tested in that way. I just hope that your team doesn't come up and sort of freeze and show us too much respect. I want you to come and have a go, because I want to be tested against good teams. So
Yeah, don't worry. We'll be out there. First 10 minutes is going to be a test. But David De Gea as well, he's the type of keeper that could, on his day, just completely cancel us out. So I've got perhaps take that into consideration as well. But I'm really looking forward to it, Mark. Can't wait.
Harry, thanks for calling in, pal. And Wolves Fan TV, if anyone wants to take a look at it, they are now part of the Premier League and they have got their fan channel. And really appreciate you coming on, pal.
Cheers, Mark. It's a pleasure. Love United stands. So thanks for giving me a chance to go on. Hope United have a good season, and I hope that this channel as well continues to grow because you've been absolutely smashing it, Mark. And as a neutral fan, to be watching a United fan channel like I do, it means you're doing a very good job. So cheers, Mark. Right.
No worries, and all the best with yours. Keep it up. It's very important that fans do that sort of thing. So really good channel you've got there, and all the best, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Great to see you, Mark. See you,
pal. Thanks to Harry for coming on. I think we're going to have our not Arsenal Fan TV. We're not having any of them on. They're in the Europa League while we're watching Emmerdale or the United Stand. But great to have Harry on there. Two things I would take from it. I mean, OF says the lot reminds me of Paulo Ferreira from Chelsea. I always thought Paulo Ferreira was crap, to be honest, so I disagree on that. But what I would say is that a lot of confidence from Wolves, and I know a few Wolves fans because I do live in the Midlands, and there is a lot of confidence because they did come up from the Championship very, very efficient, good footballers, and they will stay in the Premier League, and they've got some very, very good players. Moutinho is a player who I've always rated, long before he was at Wolves, Monaco, wasn't he? Was he at Porto as well? Very, very good player. And they've got some really good teams. But the interesting thing about this is that we've got a situation where that old thing comes out again. Old Trafford isn't somewhere to be intimidated, and it isn't. We've got to get that back. And also a team that is going to come and play football against us. They're going to come and play football, we reckon. And that is really interesting because that's something that I think some people who are not knowledgeable about Wolves might think, this is going to be a straightforward win. And I think we're going to win 2-0. That is my prediction. But if Wolves do come up and play the way they have played and they are confident, they could end up playing us off the park if we are like we've been for the last 6 months. But I'm hoping we're going to see a different Manchester United. We are going to see United trying to play on the front foot. And I saw somebody in the live comments saying that Nemanja Matic being out injured is a blessing in disguise. I'd rather Matic was playing than Fellaini, but with them not both being able to play, I certainly think it gives us that opportunity in the midfield for us to have a little bit more drive. Now, I don't know exactly how Jose Mourinho will set up for this. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I think that Herrera's going to be injured, Phil Jones is going to be injured. So his options are going to be people like McTominay. But I've got Andrew on the phone. He messaged me this afternoon and he said, I saw you at lunchtime talking about how can people steal me Mourinho out, and I wanted to have my say on it. So Andrew, can you hear me? And what is it you wanted to say?
Hey Mark. So when hearing you talk about it this morning, don't get me wrong. Like, I could still be one back. I'm not one of those people that I'm gonna say, Mourinho definitely needs to go, and but at the same time, right now I still feel like Mourinho isn't the right manager for the club. When I watch the team only be able to play one good half of football, it is hard for me to continue to support him because I feel like he's not getting the best out of the team. So and then you also add in the fact that, like, you've got the constant rotation of a squad where I feel like we do have a best 11, but I feel like our best 11 never actually plays. Just my opinion. So you see Alexis Sanchez continue to get game time week in, week out when he really isn't contributing to the squad. But, Anthony Martial goes out in the Champions League game here, and he has an absolute cracker of a game. And he just, Anthony Martial should be getting game time right now. Marcus Rashford should be getting game time right now. These are players that historically, during Manchester United and in our history, would be getting game time, and they should be getting game time.
He won't play them. He won't play Martial on Saturday, will he? I don't think Dalot will play. No. I think Valencia, Sanchez come back. But I mean, we've had the Wolves caller on there. If we beat Wolves tomorrow on Saturday, we've just had the Wolves fan guy on there, very confident, very happy with the way they're playing, feels that they can come and give us a game. So if we beat them, all these people who are saying tonight we'll beat Wolves comfortably, they clearly don't know much about Wolves because they are a decent team.
No.
So if we beat Wolves on Saturday, say 2 or 3-0, we are beating a good team. And regardless of the personnel, if we do that in a way that's easy on the eye and entertaining, then that's surely the sort of thing that will surely bring you back. Is it just you don't think that can happen?
And that's exactly it. And it's what it is, and I agree with you, because I actually, because of conversations that I actually had with on Twitter with a Wolves fan last year when they were in the championship, I actually was really interested in watching them this year in the Premier League. And I've actually watched every single one of their games here in the States. I made sure to catch them because I wanted to see what all this hype was about with them coming up. So, yeah, the Wolves are a good side. And I think that we are going to have a good game on our hands. But you're exactly right that if we continue to go out and we play, the Manchester United football that we know historically is what we should be doing, I can be one back. But it needs to happen for essentially a full game. Because right now, I can't get behind a manager that can only put together one good half or one good 50 minutes. Because it's so frustrating to watch us when I know that we have the talent in our squad to be able to go off and go kill teams. We've got the ability, even if we were to, in a sense, kind of sit back during some during some of these games, we can still hit them on the counter, but we don't have the ability right now to make that transition from defense to attack quickly. And so that's funny, Mark.
I couldn't get your face up, so I thought I'd just draw you up there.
Yeah, I like the beard. It makes sense. But it's the transition from defense to attack. It's what's frustrating to watch when we're trying to hit teams on the counter, and it's something that we've watched them struggle with for the last 2 years, and you would think that we would be training that out on the training ground.
I think it's because of the manager, though, isn't it? I mean, look, I'm going to wear my hat that's sort of, agreeing with what you're saying, which obviously everyone knows I don't. But I suppose what I would say is that we have got a manager that doesn't play this style of football that we are craving and we are hoping for. And the movement from back to front has been very slow. And I think even against Young Boys last night, we were trying to do it, but it was very slow. I just think, you know what? I think now is the time. I would encourage people who are still concerned about Mourinho, like yourself, to be vocal about it. Why shouldn't you do? That's your opinion. And also, as I've read a lot of things today, what a 3 weeks it's been for Mourinho. He's hanging on the edge, and now he's holding the flag up, king of the world. And that's great for Mourinho. But I still think those doubts are there with people like yourself, and I respect that. But I do think that, the worst thing that could have happened to United would have been Burnley at home tomorrow, Burnley away the next week, and Burnley at home next to that. I mean, I think Newcastle at home's straightforward, but over the next few weeks, we've got 2 games that really stand out to me. Wolves on Saturday, good footballing team. Mm-hmm. Valencia, they're a Spanish team, they can move the ball around. They're the teams, as we saw with Sevilla, that Mourinho got embarrassed by. So and I said this at lunchtime as well, didn't I? Even though I was being positive, I said, and I want to get your thoughts on this. What do you think's coming up? Because I think the positivity is great, and I'm praying that it's going to continue, and I have seen some real shoots of positivity in the way we're playing. But I can also see at some point, because we are Manchester United, there is going to be a slip-up. And I'm hoping it's not going to happen until after the next international break, because the most important thing for United is we are still adrift of top four. We need to win. We need to take the next 9 points and get ourselves in there. But I do think there will be more slips along the way. I certainly don't think that Mourinho is out of the woods yet.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. Right now, we always seem to turn up against the top six sides. Like even the Tottenham game, we put in a good performance, but we ultimately wound up losing ourselves in that game because of the decisions that Mourinho made in his defense and starting Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. When we saw them in that game, now granted, it was pretty much Phil Jones that cost us, the first goal, and he was...
And Lukaku, to be fair. Part. I think Phil Jones and Lukaku have to take the blame for the Spurs game, because we played well, we had the chances. If Lukaku scores and Phil Jones isn't crap, I think we would have won that game.
Yeah, and if Lukaku finishes off that chance early, I think it completely changes the complexion of the game. I 100% agree with that. And Lukaku does, it seems like he does struggle at times against the top six, but then there's also games where he has great games, and it's about that consistency. And it kind of what we had talked about earlier about with Mourinho, kind of he's coming out now, and it's something that he hasn't done to this point until these basically last 3-4 weeks, is that he started to talk positively about the club. He started to talk positively about the fans, and he started to go over to the fans and clap the fans. It's something we literally haven't seen until this year. And honestly, that's been part of the reason why I was having a hard time with Jose, because it seemed like he was always like kind of going at the fans. And you remember during the summertime when he said fans like me that went to the game in Phoenix,
I remember this, yeah,
were wasting our money in going to these games. And I'm like, I knew what I was going for. I wasn't going for some, 4-0 win, 5-0 win. I was going to watch going to watch a team that I love, and going to watch a team that, to put out the youth, to put out Tahith Chong, to put out Angel Gomez, to put out all these players, because ultimately that's what we're excited for. That's what we're looking forward to seeing, because we do have that history at Manchester United of bringing through our youth, of bringing through all these kids that, in my opinion, I think that they're good enough to be playing in the Manchester United first team right now. And so that's how I can be won back, is him continuing to do these things, to continue to talk positively about the fans, and to continue to, make these correct selections. Like, because talk about how frustrating it must be for Andres Pereira right now to have had the best summer of anybody in our team. And then he has one bad game, and he hasn't been seen in the squad until the Champions League game, and he gets a 20-minute cameo, and once again goes out there and has a good performance inside of that 20 minutes. That's got to be frustrating for a player like him, because he need, like, people like Andres Pereira, people like Anthony Martial, people like Marcus Rashford. They need game time, and I know we had talked about it a little bit on the show about if Marcus Rashford isn't going to be getting game time right now, he needs to be going out on loan. It's a crucial time for him in his development and his career to get the constant, 90 minutes to be able to, because right now you can see that he struggles with his footballing brain, and I think that unless he is actually getting game time, he is not going to get that ability to learn. He's going to want, like, honestly, if he keeps going at the rate he's going, he's going to wind up being the next Danny Welbeck. Somebody that was just all speed and no clinicalness. And that's going to be really frustrating, especially considering what the start that he had to his career for Manchester United.
Yeah. Andrew, thanks for calling in. I'm going to get a few other opinions on now, but I really appreciate you coming on and giving us that, because it's always about different opinions. And we'll speak to you again soon, pal.
Absolutely, Mark. I appreciate being on, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. And let's beat Wolves on the weekend, guys.
Definitely. Speak to you soon, mate.
Yeah, talking about your Mark.
And look, I don't agree with a lot of what I respect what Andrew says, because he's been on the show numerous times. But I think it is. I read the live comments. It's really important to read the live comments, and I get more a chance when someone else is talking, and I can see people saying enough of the negativity, this, that, and the other. But then you get a very good comment, which I think is sort of in the middle, from Manchester Skulls 18, saying, "Mark, even you had your doubts a couple of weeks ago. It has to take sustained positive attitude and tactical improvements, results to convince most fans." And I think that is the comment of the night for me, because I'm definitely on, positivity. Let's build. Let's try and get something out of this season. But I also totally agree that actually 2 or 3 weeks ago everyone was fed up, and what has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks for suddenly everyone to be starting, "Oh, I love Mourinho." Now, look, I've always liked Mourinho. I lost patience with him 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said I don't think this is going to work out. And to be honest with you, if you push me on it, I don't think it is going to work out. But I also don't think he'll be sacked this season. And when I say I don't think it's going to work out, third year. It's his third year now. This is not his first year. It's almost as if we've had a memory rewipe, as if the reset button's been hit, and this is his first season, and everyone's giving him a load of patience, saying, "You've got to give him time, he's got to build again." It is year 3. So when I say he's not going to achieve what he needs to achieve, I mean he's not going to deliver the title, he's not going to challenge for the Champions League. I can't see us doing that. I want to be right. I really want to be right. But I don't think I will be right. But what I do think Mourinho will definitely achieve is top 4. And if he achieves top 4, he isn't going to get sacked this season. So that's basically my stance at the moment. I want United to win every week like all of you do. I want United to win trophies like all of you do. But I also look at things realistically. And I actually think no matter what Mourinho does, he will get top 4. And that will be it. And after 3 years, I think the board should say, actually, you know what? 3 years, no title challenge. Top 4 is not really enough. Off you go. And I think that's what I would do. But I like Mourinho. I want him to prove us all wrong. I want him to play great football. I want him to win us the title. But ultimately, my feeling at the moment is that we won't. But what I do think is going to happen is I think we're going to get to the next international break with another 5 wins in our pocket, and the positivity will build. And when positivity builds and confidence builds, and if the football starts being better, then you reassess things every week, don't you? But I would agree with Manchester Skulls 18 that it is a bit flippant for fans who were going mad 3 weeks ago to now be tattooing Mourinho in on their arse, and it does feel a little bit like that. But I like the positivity, I really do, and I have no doubts about it. The best bit of this show is definitely, and sorry Andrew, and sorry to me, but the best bit of this show was certainly the first 10 to 15 minutes where we were talking about Wolves, because I can't wait. And look, we're going to win this game. I can't even tell you why, because you wouldn't believe me, but we are going to win against Wolves. Trust Uncle Goldbridge. We are going to win this game 2-0. I shouldn't have given you the score. Makes it sound like I've got some sort of bloody gambling thing going on, and then they're all taken back. I don't definitely know we're going to win 2-0, but I know we're going to win, and there's a reason for that. But we will win this game. But the positive is, when we win this game, let's not just go, it's only Wolves, we should beat Wolves. They're for a promoted team, like Matthew said, they're probably one of the top 10 teams in the league at the moment. They're a very good team, and if we beat them, we will. It's a positive thing. It's a positive thing, and I just think we will. And I think that we've got some confidence around the team at the moment, and we've got some fight in the team, and that's something United have lacked. And I've always said that before games. You never know what you're going to get with United, and sometimes we go out there and we're like, a bunch of fairies, and sometimes we go out there and we're a bunch of warriors. And I think at the moment we have got a bit of a warrior mentality, and you shouldn't underestimate the fact that Alexis Sanchez and Lingard will come back into the team on Saturday, and I think that they will be up for it as well. So I think we'll be all right. And the other thing I think I said to Harry is that Wolves, when I've seen them this season, they do seem a little bit wasteful in front of goal. And if that continues, that'll be good. Hope you're right, because a defeat will take the wind out of our sails and everyone will be negative again. Sanderfloor is right. You know what? If you're Mourinho out, what I would say is you're only ever one bad result away from it all coming down again. That's the tightrope Jose's walking along, because if we lost against Wolves at the weekend, that would be 3 losses from 6. That means we'd have lost 50% of our games from 3 into 6. Quick maths. But that's unacceptable. If we lose on Saturday, I don't care what we've done against Burnley and Watford, losing at home to Wolves would be shambolic for United. Unless it's because of some dodgy referee, that's shambolic. So that tightrope is still there being walked. And And I don't think, a draw's not good enough either. A draw isn't really good enough. We've got to go and win, and I think we will win. I'm really excited about this game, by the way. Very excited about it. It's very rare that United are at home against the newly promoted team in early September and you're excited about it. But because of the way they play football, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Matthew Highland says, can we please talk about the first cross from Dalot to start the game, though? I spoke about it last night, mate. I said it in my match reaction. It's the best cross we've had from right back in 6 years. And he did it in the first 60 seconds of his debut. It was absolutely fantastic. I think Valencia is... I said it to Harry, didn't I? I think Valencia is the weak point to exploit United. Everyone wanted to blame Juan Mata for it in the first game because obviously, him and Darmian weren't very good. But I think Valencia has been a big weakness since Christmas, and I think they can get it. Valencia is our weak spot. Really, our right-hand side's our weak spot. Rashford was poor last night. I don't think Lingard's had a great start to the season. Our right-hand side is our weak spot at the moment, and I think that's why Pogba's been moved over to that side, to be honest, because we're weak down the right-hand side when we've always been, steady down there. I like Dalot a lot, says Jerviston Boys Club. I think Jose has a mind of winning the Champions League this year, says Matthew Highland. I think the Champions League is going to be the hardest it's ever been to win, to be honest. I really do. I think it's going to be very, very competitive. Very competitive indeed. If he loses to Wolves, he will blame the artificial pitch taking it out of the players, says Yasser H. Would you, I don't want to talk about losing against Wolves because we're not going to, but do you think United fans are going to buy that? No, we've got to beat Wolves on Saturday. I mean, we are playing catch-up. We can't afford to lose a league game until October now. We've got to win our next 3 league games just to get ourselves, within a respectable position. We can't afford to draw or lose any games at the moment. We really can't. I just want to shout out as well. I've just looked at the subscriber count because I don't always have it up on this show. 274,923. We are very close to what... 275,000 is quite a... All right, it's not 300, it's not 250, but it is a nice round number, that is. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do bottom right hand corner and give us a subscribe. We're getting very close to another landmark. And Flex has only just got back from Switzerland because of all the train cancellations and the plane. So you know what? All I can say is well done to him and well done to all of you who get involved in the channel, because it's amazing what's happened with it in the last 3 years. And I do salute you all. So please do drop a like on the video. And subscribe, obviously, but please do drop a like on the video. I think we're going to do it again next week for West Ham. We've got West Ham Fan TV on as well. So I really enjoyed that first 10 minutes there, getting some real opinion from fans of a club. Because I can do the research, and I watched Wolves last week, but I can't give you the background like Harry did. I can't give you the confidence that Harry did. So, you might not have liked that because you felt it was a little bit confident, but I did. I enjoyed it. I liked the fact that there was... It just makes it's going to make it even better when we beat them on Saturday, because they are obviously confident, they are obviously playing well, and they are obviously a good team. So tick, tick, tick for me. Like. So thanks everyone for watching. As per usual, thanks to all of you lot. You're absolutely fantastic. Please do drop a like on video. Subscribe if you're new. We're getting very close to 275,000, and I will be live again tomorrow for Jose Mourinho's press conference. If you didn't watch my dinner, don't watch my dinner, I'm going to go and eat it. If you didn't watch my video from lunchtime, the Pogba Mourinho truce and a bit of tactical stuff, go and give it a watch. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow for Jose Mourinho's press conference, which I think will probably be 1:30 or 2 o'clock. It normally is, but I'll be live for that. See you all soon.